everyone, Suzanne Hacker here with Welcoming Wow, your vacation rental business coach, and we are here for another Owners Club interview. And today we are with Lisa, and Lisa has a vacation rental in Kissimmee, Florida that we're going to learn about today. So Lisa, if you could just introduce yourself to us, and then also just tell us a little bit about your vacation rental.
My name is Lisa Sumstine. I live year-round at the Delaware beaches, and my family and I love the Orlando Kissimmee area, and so it's always been kind of a dream for us to have a home there, a second home there. And so that was kind of how we got started many years ago, just daydreaming on our trips and picking up the for rent and the for sale places. And to be very honest, I never would have in a million years dreamed that we can make it happen, but we talked about it and just kept putting one foot in front of the other, and here we are. We love to travel, and we have reached kind of a point where our kids are older teens now. It is not as easy to cram us into a hotel room as it used to be. Always tried to kind of get a flair for the community where we were staying, not just the touristy areas. I love downtowns and hidden pockets and those sorts of things. Even though it's an additional home, not our primary home, we wanted to kind of put down some roots somewhere. We love Kissimmee. It's an area that we know well. It is our long-term goal as our children leave the nest. And then my husband and I can just hop from cool place to cool place. Other folks are enjoying the places where we aren't at that particular time. It helps to make a little bit of money along the way.
Behind you, as people can probably see, I believe that's the kitchen of your vacation rental. So tell us a little also, tell us the name around your rental, tell us how you came up with it, all those fun things.
So we call our rental Kitty's Mouse Escape for a whole bunch of reasons. There's a whole bunch behind that. My husband's grandmother's name was Catherine, and my oldest daughter is also a Catherine. And Kitty sort of is an homage to her, to my husband's grandmother. And then as we began to stay there ourselves, we found that it was kind of a fun place to recharge. So we would kind of go in to what the locals call the mouse house, and we would just run ourselves ragged and be miserable by the time it was the end of the day. And then we would come back to our short-term rental and really be able to regroup. Again, we're not cramming ourselves on those miserable buses. We're not jamming ourselves into a hotel room. We found our vacation home in this instance to be kind of serene, a little bit of an escape from all the fray to recharge and go back in again. That's kind of where it came from. Kitty was a name that my husband's grandmother had, and she's been very instrumental in a lot of things we do. We really wanted to honor her. And then the mouse escape is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. You had mentioned that eventually down the road, you're hoping to have more of them so that you can hop from one to another, which I love that goal and that dream. So in an ideal world, how many would you have? And give me the names of a few other cities where you would really like to have them at.
Have lots. Well, I'm looking actively right now at Savannah, Georgia. My oldest daughter is committed to SCAD in the fall. And that only makes sense for us, we believe. We can go and stay there when we're visiting her. I also see marketing opportunities to other parents who maybe are coming in for other weekends. And Savannah is just a stunning place. That's kind of on our preferred list of places to just generally be.
Yeah.
So that's on my list. And then I went to college in Nashville, so I know that area quite well. And we have family about an hour and a half from there. So my short/long-term plan is to get something in place in Savannah. That seems to be the most practical, and then to move on to Nashville. And then really we're open to anything if it makes sense.
Sure.
The adventure of it all is also fairly intriguing to us.
Yeah.
So we're always looking.
Okay, awesome. That's a great answer. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your journey, included having a bit of a snafu in the beginning. And then also once you took over managing it yourself, another snafu. So tell us just a little bit about those snafus and maybe what you learned from those.
Yes, I have already learned that you have to give yourself quite a lot of grace.
Nice.
There are going to be problems. There are absolutely going to be times when you say to yourself, what have I done? And that's why I think it's important to pick a place that you love, because in the midst of me saying, what have I done? I also in the very next breath will say, but I don't want to quit. I love it, And so that's part of, I think there has to be a certain level of fire or passion there to be able to weather some of the storms. Yes, I had a partner that very unceremoniously bailed, leaving me holding the bag, and we still loved it there and wanted to figure out how to make it work. I had problems with cleaning people. I've had problems with other co-hosts. I've had problems with God help us, there's a nature preserve behind the house, and there's a lot of nature in Florida that is sometimes a lot to manage. But you just have to, I think, more than focus on the storm, you have to celebrate the fact that you could pull it through and come out on the other side. Yeah. There will be issues, no matter what. I mean, there will be issues. You just go in and you feel like this is your thing and you're excited about what you're doing, and give yourself some grace and you'll figure it out.
What are some things that you've done recently with the listing to try to make improvements, get more bookings, find your niche?
Well, one of the things that I try to do that I feel like maybe has made a difference is I pay attention to the feedback. I got some feedback that I needed a little bit of pizzazz in the front of the house, and so that's what I did. I got some feedback that I needed crazy stuff, a pool skimmer and a mixing bowls. Those are small things, but they do make a difference. I have, we did it one way, and then people to go in, stay in their unit. Yeah. Go stay in your unit and see what you have and what you need. Yeah. And because we did it and we thought it was perfect, and then we stayed there and we were like, oh, these few pieces are missing, or whatever. One of the things that I am very excited about that we have done is we have made the smallest of changes or adjustments to be able to welcome specifically families on the spectrum, so that I feel that that's undeveloped niche per se, and I'm excited about what we're doing and what we can offer in that area as well.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I thank you for being our first spectrum-friendly vacations rental. And I mean, people that end up joining and going through the training will find that it's not very expensive, and it can actually, the changes that are needed to be made can be done in an afternoon. So it's easy. It is a market that needs rentals that cater directly to them, just because there's certain issues that children with autism have that a lot of people don't understand. When they get frustrated, it can sometimes get a little louder than what people might want, and that can be difficult in a hotel room. The issue of eloping or wandering, where they can unfortunately have a tendency to slip out, just means that there's other safety items that can be in place to protect against that. But I know even before we did that, you had some extra protection going out to the pool to keep people from being able to go out there if they're not supposed to. Was that something that was suggested to you to do, or more like, we just gotta lock this up like Fort Knox?
Yes. No, I needed it locked up. We have a pool in our year-round home, and it's really fun and it's super cool, and your friends come over and everybody just wants to be there all the time. But then you kind of step back and you think, gosh, somebody could really get hurt here if they're not paying attention. And so that kind of safety's always been at the top of my mind. And the pool at Kitty's is fantastic. It's a full-size private pool. I mean, you actually step out. I don't think you can, well, you can see a little bit of the concrete, but you actually step out of the kitchen, take 4 or 5 steps, and you're in the pool. So I thought it was a small thing that we could do to make sure that my kids aren't that little anymore. But if I had little kids, I would want to make sure that we were locked up pretty good at the end of the day. Yes.
That's awesome. So what would be one piece of advice you would give to other vacation rental owners that maybe if you could have turned back the clock, you would have given to yourself, other than to give yourself grace?
I think be flexible. Take your best case scenario and realize that that's rarely going to happen. You know, what is the saying? You need to plan for the worst and hope for the best.
Sure.
And this is kind of a hard one for some people, but you kind of need to be able to shake off criticism and not let it get you down, because you know you're always going to have somebody that knows all about it, what you should do and how you should do it. And there's rarely anything to be gained by engaging in that. You just shake your head and say, oh yeah, I'll think about that, and move on. But I think that expect the unexpected. I do think it's important to stay in your unit every once in a while. Stay there for a week in the beginning. Stay there, you know, for a weekend or something every 6 months or whatever. I think you'd be surprised what you may have overlooked or overdone. But I think the other thing that has been helpful to us is we really love that community. And we have begun to find places that we really enjoy that maybe not, you wouldn't just kind of happen upon if we didn't say, oh gosh, we love it here, try that, or whatever. You know, if this is something that you're very interested in, you'll find your way.
Maybe what was the most crazy experience that a guest had in your place? I'm talking a little bit about the good, the bad, and the ugly here real quick. So what was a crazy experience that a guest had at your place that you really had zero control over?
Yeah, we have raccoons in the attic. And they apparently are nocturnal. So I didn't know that much about. I know more now than I ever desired. But they apparently were cool until it got dark, and then they wanted to party, and my guests weren't feeling that so much.
Not a party in the attic.
Yeah, and that was really a scramble and a learning situation. I got very lucky that I found an exterminator that could also plug the spaces that they were getting in.
Sure.
And the guy was really cool, and he trapped them, and he would take them 10 miles away from the house. And I swear they were walking 10 miles back, because we fought this for a very long time.
Oh.
But so that was kind of interesting. That was really hard for me. And you have to, as an owner, you have to be able to manage your own temperament, because I'm kind of like, I need to be in there when something's going on. And so I'm 15 hours away.
Yeah.
So I really struggled to like leave this to someone else to handle while I couldn't get there. But yes, we had raccoons. That was interesting. We've also had some other rented to a baby. They had a baby shower there. I think they had less than 7 or 8 people, and the guest was very upfront with me and said, you know, I want to have a baby shower on this day, and I'm planning on having this many people. And it was great. I kind of liked that idea, because they came and did their thing, and then, I mean, they cleaned up moderately, but they didn't have to really clean up thing. We handle all that. that's really fun. And I do like to hear about the families that come.
Yeah, I agree.
Where they're coming from and why they're coming. You would think that everyone would come to go to the Mouse House, but I have found that that's not exactly the case. Some people just want to like be not in their house, in a different place, quiet, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Or maybe a couple people want to go to the Mouse House, but more of the group just wants to, you know, lazy around. Or go with
or there's like so much to do. There's so much to do in that area. If it's not a place where you live, like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. So tell everyone how big the house is. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, and then I'm guessing that the best place that they can find you is on Instagram at Kitty's Mousescape or Facebook at Kitty's Mousescape. But tell people, you know, the size of the place, the bedrooms, and anything else that guests should know about it if they want to go look it up and book.
Sure. So it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. The primary bedroom has a king bed, and the other 2 bedrooms have queen beds, which I was a little bit adamant about because queen bed's just more comfortable. We also have a pull-out sofa, full dining room, full kitchen, giant living room, full private pool. I don't know exactly the size of the house. I'm going to guess it's around 1,700 square feet. It is single floor with a garage. Now, if you have ever been in Florida in your car around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to be so thankful that you can pull that car in the garage and not get a drop of rain on you.
Right, it's true. There's like a few months of the year where every afternoon it's gonna rain or storm for half hour, 45 minutes. It just is.
That's exactly it makes no sense, but here's what we're gonna do. So that part's nice, and I think that the single floor is helpful for some folks.
Sure.
As well. Our home is in a actual year-round community. It's in a cul-de-sac, and I like that too. I like feeling like I'm part of the neighborhood. We've got neighbors on both sides that are very kind. You could possibly run into them, and they always have a wave, and if you have a question or whatever, they are year-round residents and can point you in the right direction.
There's people around too, you know, just in case something happens or comes up, and it's like a neighborhood that keeps an eye, you know, on each other and each other's homes and things like that.
Yes, very much. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. Was there anything that you wanted to tell people about that I didn't ask you about today?
Not necessarily. I want everyone to come and relax and have fun. And, you know, some people want to go. Some people want to lay on the couch. We can accommodate all of that.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Awesome.
We try to if you keep checking our social media accounts, which is Instagram at Kitty's Mouse Escape and Facebook at Kitty's Mouse Escape, we try to post all kinds of like out of the box things to do, not just go to Disney or Universal. We try to be more community minded. And so, y'all come. We've got some time. It's not terrible. You'll love it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Again, it was great having you on and having a chance to show off your property and tell people about Kitty's Mouse Escape.
Thanks, Suzanne. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Of course.